So, who has some good things?
It's a half day. That's good. It's a half day.
Half day.
I finished cleaning my house.
Finish cleaning your house. Oh yeah. So that means you have the rest of your half day off, right?
Yeah, so I can do it.
Okay. What are you gonna do with your half day?
Make rice and call my dad and
Make rice. How do you make rice? Do you have a rice cooker?
yeah, I wish.
Oh, that's nice. What are you gonna do the rest of your half day, Michael?
Do my own heritage coffee, and after that, go home, go make chili and rice.
Chili and rice. Chicken combo. All right. What else?
I'm gonna
You guys work? Nice. Cool. So you're done at half day. What are you gonna do with the rest of your day?
I am, let's see, I'm probably gonna take a nap, have an appointment later, and then do some laundry.
Cool, cool. Anyone else? Nathan, what are you gonna do with the rest of your day? Stay home, play some video games? What about you, Thaddeus? Oh, chores? On a half day, you got chores to do?
I mean, all I had to do is clean my room yesterday.
Also, you got plans for the rest of your day? What do you got? Anything?
I'm trying to think of something not so personal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's still on. It just this week.
Just the part.
You don't have to share. Shirley.
yeah, I don't.
All right. So real quick, are we doing minute 4? You just got minute 4 back.
I'm still working on it.
You're still working on that one.
I'll just continue and then when I'm done, I'll give it to you.
Well, which one are you? Do you guys know? Did you do minute the number 4?
Minute 4, I'm just going when I didn't do it.
Oh, okay. So you're ready for minute 5.
Yeah, I'll just do it.
Number 5 coming at you.
I'm sitting on the side.
Next week, we'll hopefully be back on a better routine. I'll be able to keep track of things better. Yeah. How do you measure it? What do you think of measuring the height of the ceiling? We want to finish up our conversation about the top. So if you remember yesterday, we went through and we collected some data. We made a top, and we went through and we all tried a different number of pennies, and we added pennies or weight. Santana, can you keep your head up, please? You can take one of your phones out. Thank you, sir. So we went through and we added weight by adding numbers of pennies, and then we timed that because we wanted to see, well, if we add weight to our top, is it going to spin longer? That's what we were looking at. And Andrew's like, no, that doesn't work. Adding weight to your top doesn't increase the amount of time it's spinning. But we have all of this data, so each one of these points is one of these data points. So for Lonnie, if she put 12 pennies on and it spun for 8 seconds, we can come to the number of pennies, 12, which is about here, and we know that this lines up with that data point. So all these little points represent one of these right over here. That's the same on the coordinate system, x, y. This is very similar to a coordinate system. We would call this our x-axis, and we could call this our y-axis if we want, but it's number of pennies and time in seconds. So when I look at that, do I see any kind of pattern? Anything that stands out to me? Do I notice anything? What am I noticing? What pattern do you notice, Lonnie?
It's kind of like this. Like there's more over here, but I didn't see it go up with the pyramid.
Like this?
Yeah.
A little bit. Anyone else see anything that stands out to them? Santana, you see anything up here? Can you open your eyes and look at the screen? So this is what we're focusing on, this is what we're thinking about. And we're wondering, what kind of pattern do we have here? Sometimes it stands out pretty well, sometimes maybe it doesn't. But what we can do is we can add a line of best fit or a trend line. So this black line right here, it takes the average of all these points. It's taking all of this data, it's doing the math. We're not going to do that math. But it says this line right here represents the average of all these points. So on average, as we add pennies, as the number of pennies increase, what's happening to our time? Yeah, our time is increasing gradually. So the more weight we add to our pennies, and the more weight we add to our tops, the longer it's spinning. And that's the average trend. That's what the trend line tells us. And this is the same thing as the best fit line. So trend line and line of best fit are the same thing. We can use computers to generate it for us, or we can just look at stuff and see those patterns. But it's important to realize this is just one line. And this is just our data. But the other period did it as well, so let's look at their data. And so if you look at their data, we double the amount of points we have here. And what do we notice about this line? More gradual or more steep?
I should have said more steep.
Yeah, so if you look at it, you'll notice that it looks a little bit more steep. And the cool part about these computer programs is they give us the equation in point or slope-intercept form. So here's an equation. So how long would top spin if I had 1,500 pennies on there? Are you going to put 1,500 pennies on a paper plate and spin it? Why not? Because what? It increases the speed? Well, what else? Why else are we not going to take 1,500 pennies onto a small paper plate and spin it around on the top?
Well, we don't have to because we can already use the math and figure it out.
Yeah, we can use the formula. So if x is the number of pennies, I can take 1,500 times that plus this, and I get an answer. So I just do a small sampling and now I can apply it to a lot of different pennies, right? We just talked about the top, and if we add weight, it's going to spin longer. So if you add weight to a top, why does it spin longer? Maybe. But I want you to take 5 minutes, and I want you to go to the internet. You can use your phone, you can grab a computer, but I want you to go to Google, and I want you to find out why is it that when we add weight, the top is spinning longer. So I'm going to write that up here. So the question 1, on the back of your warm-up, you need to write down the answer for this. You don't have to copy it down. And you should come up with a scientific concept. And I want you to state, what is that scientific concept that we just proved with our little experiment? So that's the first thing you need to do, is find that scientific concept by Googling, why does the top spin longer when you add weight? And then the second part of that scientific concept you found for number 1, where do you see that in real life? Where does that get applied? Why do we even care about tops being able to spin? Kids gotta have fun, right? Keeps kids entertained longer. Ain't that right, Cynthia? So what did you Google to get there? So you need it. Say what? So you might have to type this whole question in. Why does the top spin longer when you add weight? You might need to type that whole question in order to get a good response from Google. Andrew, you got a phone?
I just say yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, you can use a phone or you can use a computer.
You go.
No, write it down. What's the scientific concept that we just worked with? Well, you have the answer somewhere on that screen, so let's read it. What's happening? What are they talking about there? You had it. You had the right thing pulled up. Yeah. So what scientific concepts are we talking about there? That is. What did we just represent the top by adding pennies to it? Make sure you get that written down on the back. Find it, Andrew?